Voting in the second phase of regional elections in Indian-administered Jammu and Kashmir has concluded.
Foreign diplomats from 15 countries, including Singapore, the Philippines and the US, witnessed voters casting their ballots in the first local election the region has seen in decades.
And more than 56% of voters are turned out in the second phase, compared to about 61% in phase one. Ishan Garg has more from the former state capital, Srinagar.
In a first, foreign diplomats witnessed voting, a move that experts say could bolster the Indian government's claims that normalcy is returning to Kashmir. Now, this region has witnessed armed insurgency and conflicts for decades and still remains one of the most militarized regions in the world. But this visit has been criticized by local political parties here, who say that the federal government has been taking out these diplomats on what they call a guided tour and presenting an inaccurate picture of the ground reality. 5 years ago, the federal government scrapped Jammu and Kashmir's semi-autonomous status in a sudden move that many here saw as an assault on their political and cultural identity. Vice President of the Regional National Conference Party, Omar Abdullah, a key Indian opposition leader, says people came out to vote to protest against federal rule imposed in 2019, and that this election is a referendum on the government's claim that the move was supported by locals in Kashmir. It's why, despite the region seeing historically low voter turnout in the past, far more people have come out to vote this time around.
लोगों में भी शऊर बढ़ गया है कि वोट कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है, और जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हैं, जो लीडर्स हैं, उनको भी थोड़ा एहसास हुआ है कि इस वोट का महत्व कितना है और ये कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है. आज यही जाके तो घर घर वो जाके वोट मांग रहे हैं. So this vote is very important.
In most parts of Srinagar and the Kashmir Valley, separatists exercised significant influence for decades. They often encouraged voters to boycott elections, to protest India's rule in the region. But in this election, some separatists are now running as independent candidates, a move experts say could cut into the votes of mainstream parties and their candidates. That has also meant that separatist leaders are no longer forcing locals to boycott the polls, nor are voters fearing violence from militants in Srinagar.
पहले झिझकते थे ना नाम लेने से, हम इनको नहीं डालेंगे, इनको डालेंगे, उनको नहीं डालेंगे, इनको डालेंगे. अब सरेआम बोल रहे हैं हमने फलानी पार्टी को डालना है.
Whoever wins will also be expected to address the issues of high unemployment, inflation and struggling businesses. Roughly 20% of Kashmir's youth population is estimated to be jobless, a crisis that locals say has worsened since the region lost its status as a state.
सबसे बड़ी बात है बेरोजगारी. पढ़े लिखे ऑटो चला से मजदूरी कर रहे हैं. पीएचडी वाले आपने देखे होंगे, रेड़ा चला रहे हैं.
But the top demand for nearly all voters is to make Jammu and Kashmir a state again, irrespective of the party people are supporting. It's something Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has long promised to do, but not delivered on yet. This despite his government repeatedly claiming that federal rule in the region has helped Kashmir's economy and helped fight armed insurgency and terrorism. This is why the visit by diplomats is being called an effort to show how peaceful this region really is. Those who visited said they did see democracy in action. But for the people here, they say that true democracy for them will only be witnessed when Kashmir gets its statehood and they have a bigger say in how their region is governed. Ishan Garg, CNA, Srinagar, Kashmir.